Back from my birthday. You got some, we still got those little bottles of lotion and stuff like that over here, and
What?
those little bottles of lotions. She said she didn't get any lotion.
Do you
Rub
get
off
some
or
of
something,
that?
my toes and something.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say good evening, everybody. Marie is sunburned. Good to see you, girl. She's been out in the sun at the lake. Good to see you. I want to say hello to everybody. Welcome to Take It to the Streets. I want to say hello by internet. And we're looking for a great night. We're so excited to have Brother Harry Gunter with us tonight. Been looking forward to this, Brother Harry. Been looking forward to it. And we thank you for being here. So we got singing tonight, we got Sister Shirley. And Shirley, thank you for coming, and we love to hear you sing. Sebastian gone with the dad, she said, going to the streets. He said, Charlie B. So you tell him we miss him and Charlie both. And we're just praying for a great move of God. We got the schedule ready to go, and I've got some copies back there. I've got to get some ink and finish up the schedules because I ran out while I was making them. And I think they all might be gone by now, but I'll have some more. I'll get some more printed up. But we're on in the newspaper. We're in the newspaper, in paper newspaper every week. And then we're also on Facebook, on my internet page, and on the Streets Ministry page. So, Barbara will be going over the schedule with you. I can't believe it's already the 1st of September. It is hard to believe. Want to ask prayer before I forget it. I want to ask prayer for Sam Witt. He's feeling better, but he's got diverticulitis, and he's really been down. And I called and talked to him today, and he really needs prayer. So please pray for him. Pray for Alan Trevette. And Brother Doug, if you don't mind when Barbara calls out the prayer request, I'll ask you to come up and pray again, okay? But Alvin Trevette, he had gotten cancer free. God had brought him completely cancer free. He came into the ministry and he did a skit, if people remember, and the cancer has come back on him. And he called that night. He's in Montgomery County Hospital, goes home tomorrow. He said they found a small spot on his liver, real small. They want to see what it is. They'll do a biopsy. They should know the results tomorrow. So I told him we are praying that it will be back negative and that he will be cancer. There won't be no cancer there. And I'm not sure if the cancer has come back in as esophagus or what. But anyways, please pray for him. He called tonight and we talked. And pray for Don Haggard. I can't get a hold of Don. Have you talked to him, buddy? Okay, Brother Don, if you're watching, I'll try to call you again tomorrow. I did try to reach him tonight, him and his wife, and then I tried to reach Brother Don a couple nights ago. And I've not been able to get a hold of him, so please pray for Brother Don, because you know he had that stroke. And he was going to the doctor and find out how serious the stroke was, and if there was any lasting repercussions on that. So pray for David out on the highway. Pray for Kathy. They had I don't know the flooding they had a flood over the church last night. And she said it wasn't as bad as what they thought. It had some water in the sanctuary, some water damage is all it was. But said that where the church sits, kind of like in a valley line, came down, and she said that the water just came in. They worked on it today. So pray for them that their church will be okay. You know, and I think they got a whole lot accomplished today. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to make an announcement about. On singing tonight, Barbara, if it's okay with you, whenever you get ready for singing, I'll go ahead and get mine, and then Shirley is will do 2, and then an altar song. So we missed Kathy's server tonight, and you tell Kathy that we missed her, and she might be watching. If you are Kathy, we miss you, and I miss seeing your mom. And that Clara seemed like there's something else I want to say. Hope everybody has a great Labor Day. I always feel like when Labor Day comes, Phyllis, and the summer's here. And you know, you can feel the fall in there anyway. I felt it for a couple weeks ago. I felt fall in there. But on the sewing, yes, we are still looking for a couple sewing machines to get us started on a sewing class that Joanne wants to do. And she mentioned tonight, and I'd love to see this happen. She said that she could work with the young kids, teach them how to sew, and adults, right? And adults if they want to learn how to sew. But also that they would make quilts, like little quilts for the when people get drama, when they get hurt, and for the fire and rescue and the police, and they can hold on to them, the patients can hold on to them for comfort. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be so nice to have that. So let's try to get that going, and we just need a couple of machines to start us off with, and go from there. But I think a sewing class would be really good. I can't remember what the girl's name was. Remember, I told you I seen her at the post office, and she said she wanted to be in that sewing class. But God will bring it back to my memory. But I think I remember who it was now. It's going to be a good night, Brother Harry. We always love you coming to preach. I mean, we always love you coming to preach. I say it a lot of times. David at 70 years old, the Lord took him home. I heard at 70 years old, God gave him a new living. And it's just amazing. I mean, all these years later, when people were living a long time, in David's time, you know, long age, and you know, people living longer now. They're living longer now. But Brother Harry, we just praise God for what He's doing in your life. We sure do. And tell Sharon that we love her. And also, I want to tell you about Brandon. I had a good visit with Brandon the other day. Keep this date in your mind, please. September 24th. Brandon needs a miracle. He goes to, they have his hearing on September 24th. So please just remember Brandon and 24 and pray for God to give him a miracle. He's been Brother Harry, he's been incarcerated for hit and run and for 9 years on a hit and run. And when you see people commit murder and might get 6 months or 18 months, you see people doing drugs and stuff and walking scot-free, and they give him 9 long years. It just ain't right. So just pray that justice will be served. They are having a hearing. Pray that God will go before him and get in the court's mind and in their hearts, and that justice will be served. I ask Barbara, well, before I do that, I want to ask, I believe I asked Brother Bob Ramey again. You come up and open up with a prayer. Tell Sister Brenda Clandon that we miss her.
She's had some uncontrollable. We all stand, please. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you tonight, Lord, in your house, Father, we hope that everything year, we ask that you give us a good service, Lord, and that we all get the blessing that we're looking for. We pray in your name. Amen.
And pray for Charles Fletcher. You know, he got an infection in both of his legs, the way I understand it. Is that, somebody said,
Me.
okay. He's got an infection in both of his legs. And I texted him and told him he needs to stay off of his legs.
Yeah.
And he works, and Brother Doug, I tell him to stay home, and next thing I know, he's plumbing in West Virginia, or plumbing in North Carolina, or wherever they go to, and running day and night. And I wish he would just take some rest and stay off of those legs before he loses the legs. Because once you get that far, infection will kill you. Infection will kill you. And if that infection's over in his legs, Brother Hurd, if it goes from one leg to the other, it can certainly come this way too. And once it gets up into his organs and his brain, you know, the infection can take him out of here. So he really needs to learn to stay home and give himself some rest tonight. I hope he's home. He's not here tonight. I hope he's home tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he ain't in West Virginia. He was over there last night, over in West Virginia. So we just pray for him. We love him and just lift him up in prayer. I asked my Sister Barbara to come on up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's had a good week.
So just push pause again.
I know, honey, I'm not going to walk out in the door. Anyway, as Tony said, tonight we have Pastor Harry Gunter. And tomorrow night we have Reverend Curtis Howard. Anybody don't know who that is? He's been here several times, and his wife passed away last year. So he's from down in Roanoke, then, somewhere down in our area. Charleston. Okay, he's down there. Okay, so he came tomorrow night. Next Friday, September the 7th, we have Evangelist Paul Burgess. Saturday, September the 8th, we have Reverend Ginger Riggins. Friday, September the 14th, we have Evangelist Ralph Parker. September the 15th, we have Evangelist Deidre Phillips. Friday, September the 21st, we have Pastor Jared Midkiff. He works out there at with what's her face? She's saying dogs. And Saturday, September the 22nd, we have Evangelist Kathy Smith. And on Saturday the 22nd, we will have the food and clothing event from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This time we're going to be serving free barbecue, chips, dessert, and drinks. And also the clothing bank will be open with free men's, women's, boys, and girls' clothing. So if anybody knows of anybody that needs to do a meal or needs clothes, send them our way. And then on September the 28th, we have Evangelist Todd Garwood. And Saturday, September the 29th, we have Reverend Barbara Kidd. And that'll take care of the month of September. They said on the news tonight that the 1st of September does start the meteorologist fall. And they showed how the temperature has been going down each month. So it's right upon us. We're going to do the prayer request, Cecil. I'm going to go ahead and get mine before we get started. Julia Simpkins texted me just a few minutes ago and said that she was sick and wasn't be able to be here tonight, so she needs prayer. I'd like for y'all to remember my daughter, grandbaby, my son-in-law. They all three, they live in Florida. Last Monday, they all three were diagnosed with the flu. The daddy and the baby had an ear infection along with the flu. And the daddy also ended up with a heart rate of 250 something, dehydrated. He ended up in the hospital. They had to do a procedure on his heart. I'm not sure what the name of the procedure was, but the doctor told him that he felt like the flu was what caused it. So he just got out of the hospital last night. My daughter and the baby didn't go to the hospital, they were at home, but she was heartbroken because she couldn't be with her husband through any of that. And she sounded terrible and called the hospital and asked me if she could come and visit. And they said, absolutely not. You'd be a big risk to him. So remember them, and then remember Cecil's brother, Lewis. His wife passed away last Sunday. So remember him and that family. Now, does anybody have a prayer request that they would like to speak of?
The lady that I had y'all pray for, Susan Farley, her mother called me yesterday and said that Susan had passed away on Wednesday. And we need to pray for her mama and that family right there. I will pray for her and believe God will heal her cancer, but he took her home to heaven, so we need to pray for that family. And also pray for my family. Pray for me. I've been sick this week. And there's a special need in my family that I don't know what it is, but when it comes to that time of month, everybody's got to pay out money. They get angry, they fuss, they argue. I want the Lord to help us through that. Next month we don't have to go through that anymore. The devil get on down the road and get on my family, and let the Lord have love and peace and joy in my family. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, brother.
I want to pray for our grandmother's family. Wayne Tate, he's going to have a stent put in his heart Tuesday.
Anybody else?
Pray for Dad, he's got auction today. He's sick today. Pray for me.
Anybody else? In the back.
I've been having trouble with my right foot. It just starts paining. And when I step on it, I just can't hardly bear weight on it. And it just comes and goes. I don't know what's going on with it. Y'all be praying for that.
Randall and Stephanie Gunter in Norwood Tree, they're still having a lot of health issues. And some of my neighbors in the apartment building, they were going to try to come and go with me tonight, but they said they would tomorrow night. But they both got health issues.
Anybody else? I forgot one. I don't call his name. He's our neighbor. And he's the one that he has been in remission for years from lung cancer. And they found a place on the back of his head, and they thought it was cancer, but they say it's not cancer, but there is something wrong with him. He's still having throwing up and can't eat and really can't even walk without a cane now, so remember him. Okay, that's all the problem. Doug's going to come out and pray over the prayer request.
Barbara, y'all remember Sebastian too? He's, for a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks now, he off and on he'll tell me my belly hurts. He'll rub his belly, and sometimes it's like towards his side. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and take him. It just wasn't once or twice, he does it often, and something may be hurting him, you know, so just pray for him.
I can tell you, they gave the baby an antibiotic. Well, Sherry tried to get it in and she could not eat a potato. And she put it in everything. Juice, yogurt. I think she said she tried some syrup. Just as soon as he thought it was in there, he pushed it away. So he probably, God healed him and Tylenol and whatever else she gave him because they gave him Tamiflu, but they didn't have it at the pharmacy. And I didn't know that after 48 hours, that's the wind, you're out of the window then. So they told her, they said, even when we get it, it's not doing any good. So she said it's doing better. So.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. So good to be in here tonight. So good to be with you, Brother Harry. Looking forward to hear your message. And surely looking forward to hear you sing tonight. God bless you. And we're going to go to the Lord in prayer, but all this prayer for this. And I know one thing, I'll be glad when Jesus comes back and takes me to heaven. How about you? Amen. I am tired of the devil aggravating me in my family. We go Lord in prayer. Lord Jesus, I love you tonight, Lord God. We thank you, Lord God, for this service tonight, Lord. We thank you for all the different prayer requests was made known tonight, Lord. Lord, you know every need, you know everything about everybody. The Bible says you even know when we lose the hairs off our head, Lord. You know everything about everything. So, Lord, we're praying. The Bible says come boldly to the throne of grace so we can receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Lord, we have needs tonight. We have needs, Lord. We're tired of this world, Lord, things in this world, but we don't have to live through it. We have tribulations, we have problems. We still have to live through it, Lord. Because you said, be of good cheer. I have overcome the world, Jesus said. And so, Lord, I believe, Lord, that you're going to heal all the sicknesses tonight. It says in your word, by your stripes we are healed. Praise God. We believe it to be done. In the lovely name of Jesus, we love you, Lord God. We thank you and praise your wonderful name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's give the Lord a hand. At this time, Charlie Big requested that he sing first, so let's put our hands together.
Thank you, Barbara. Before I sing this song, I just want to say, a lot of times we get free. God delivers us from everything goes hurt. And a lot of times we'll pray at the altar and pick it right up before we get away from the altar and put it back in our pocket. And even years as you go down the road, I remember that I've been out running all night long. Come home, don't even know how I got home. Come home, it's not too early, before daybreak, probably an hour or so. The Lord woke me up at daybreak. He wouldn't let me sleep. He woke me up at daybreak, and I got up and I drove up on this great big mountain, Joanne, and I walked out on a great big ledge. And I sat down there and I looked and I said, Lord, there has got to be more to life than this. I am miserable. I was miserable. And I went to church and I almost beat the pastor to the altar. When he started giving the altar call, I was ready. I was ready to go before I got there. But you know, the devil will tempt you with this and tempt you with that. And he knows, we don't know everybody's weakness, but he knows. He knows what it is. And we can look at somebody, and we can talk to somebody and never have no idea that would bother them. You know what I'm saying, Harry? And what bothers Harry may not bother me. What bothers me may not even bother Christine. But the devil knows exactly what to get to somebody. And he will dangle that in front of you. Just like a shiny carrot, a new automobile, he'll bring that in front of you. And you won't see his sly and sickness that he's got. And you won't see what he's trying to get you back into. And if you ain't so very careful, the very chains that God broke you from, you'll end up right back in them. And the Lord said, not only will you be worse than what you were, but you will be 7 times worse than what you were. But we don't have to go back. I won't go back for nothing. They can have it. They can have this old world. Because it ain't going to last much longer no way. And we're going on. Hallelujah. This is for several of you tonight. And I told Shirley's learning a new song. I heard a song on the radio. And I told Shirley, I said, Shirley, that's you. I said, that's your song right there. And she said she's learning it. She's almost got it. I can't wait to hear her sing it. I cannot wait to hear her sing it. But I want to do this one for several people in here. And pray that you'll get a lesson out of it. Sure.
Bless you, Lord.
tell everybody in here on the internet. We do 2 services here, Friday and Saturday night each week. It starts at 7 o'clock. We have the 2 buses that God has blessed us with. We have the 2 warming stations out back. That's for when the temperature falls below 40 degrees. They can come in, have a hot meal, a hot shower, place to sleep, a change of clothes. They get brand new underclothes. They get a light breakfast in the morning and a snack to take with them when they leave. We also do a jail management. And we have a PayPal set up, or you can mail in your contributions to Taking to the Streets, P.O. Box 30, Lansing, Virginia, 24301. We thank each and every one for their contributions and donations. Most of all, we praise our Father God, because if it weren't for Him, we wouldn't be here.
Amen.
Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for another opportunity to be in your house tonight. Father God, we thank you for your blessings upon us this week, Lord, for taking care of us, providing our needs. Lord, we know that you know every prayer request before we even speak. And Father God, we just thank you for taking care of us and watching over us. Lord, we pray that you would bless this service tonight. Anoint Brother Harry, Lord. Give him the message you want us to hear. Open our hearts and our ears, Lord, and help us to receive the word. Lord, we pray that you just bless each one that has entered tonight. And Lord, we pray that you would just use this offering that we're about to receive to build your kingdom. And we'll give you all the praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' precious holy name. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, Brother Harry, do you need some water before you come up? You're fine. Sister Shirley, do you need water? Do you need water? Let's make Sister Shirley welcome, and it's so good to have her here tonight.
Have your way, Lord. Thank you.
Shirley's a busy lady. She's got a little 2-year-old grandson that she's raising. She's got a teenage daughter. She babysits, so she spreads herself thin.
God bless you.
We're so glad to have her.
Bless you, Lord.
Track.
Bring them in, either. Just had to do them, but I didn't bring them in. I was in a hurry and I got mixed up.
I hope it's the one you want right here.
You know, I've already told Shirley that when she finished singing, just go ahead and ask, because I heard it come up, bring a message. But I feel like God's saying for her to sing that first song again. And I'd like to ask everybody to say, well, if they just stand and just give God praise, and let's welcome them into the service.
Amen. Bless the Lord.
Holy Spirit, Lord.
Thank
not be in the book of Lamentations. It's a little scary to preach out of it because it's a funeral service from the beginning to the end. But we're going to start the book of Jeremiah. You know, we don't know much about some of these prophets in the Bible. We can look at them, or he might tell me where they're born, or the name, or who the dad was. We don't know much more about that. Jeremiah we know a lot about because his whole ministry was probably largely autobiographical. It's what happened when he was preaching to the nation of Israel. And we want to look at it a little bit in the first chapter of Jeremiah. You don't have to turn there, but it tells us that he was a priest in Anathoth, just north of Jerusalem, so we know exactly where he was born and what his people were. He was chosen to be a prophet before he was born. When we say God knows, and we mentioned that in the prayer and stuff, God knows you before we can't even imagine how far back. This is so far back in eternity, and it said that he knew us. He knew the hairs on our head. He knew what you were going to do. He knew when you were going to accept him as Savior. He knew all this way back before the earth was formed.
Amen.
So it gets back before we can. This is the God we serve. You know, this is the God we serve. And he tells Jeremiah, he said that before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nation. I have done to pick you out before you were even thought about. This is part of the plan. You know, God has a plan. We need to understand that. I was listening to Dr. David Jeremiah one day, and he was talking about it comes times in your life, and every one of them, he said, it's always been rosy and everything's been good. You're lying to us. You know, there's times when things are going bad, and you start to think about it, well, why hasn't God acted? You know, I thought about that when I was going through this problem with my liver. I spent about 2 years in the hospital more than I was out of it. I didn't know when my ammonia level would get up there, and I wouldn't know where I was at. And so I'd wake up in the emergency room. Or sometimes if I'd be in intensive care, I didn't know. And I kept thinking about, you know, here I am. I got faith in you, God. I knew you were going to do something. You know, but I couldn't understand why if at one time I didn't go, if I didn't go, and all of a sudden they said, whoa, your liver's perfect. You are all right. And that, you know, just give me a good liver, you know, just out of the blue. Big miracle. That's what I was looking at. Right? And I thought, well, God, I know you're capable. And then you can get down. That's what Jeremiah said. But then when you look back, we know who God is.
Amen.
We know what God has done.
Yes, we do.
And we know that all things work together for good. You got to take that statement as truth, don't you? That's got to be the truth. We know all these things work together for good. So all of a sudden, you know, I spend my time at Duke. I've been there about a month. I lost about 70 or 80 pounds. You know, I was in bad shape. You know, Charlie come down and see me. I had more tubes running out of me and all that. You know, but God acted. And so, you know, what Jeremiah was saying, I got to thinking about that, and that's what, I mean, Dr. David Jeremiah, is when you start to think about, look back, and you know this is God, something's going to happen, you don't know. You don't know that something's going to happen. That's faith. That's the definition of faith. I've got faith because God's going to happen. I know He's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to do. You know, I look forward to the rapture. I look forward to getting out of it. You know, if you think this is a good place to live, you are a fool. Amen. You're a fool. You know, look at that. Just read just read, we've been studying Revelation at the church, and we were in the 21st chapter. And he said, when John said, I saw New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven. And he doesn't say it ever touches her. He said, I've seen a new heaven and a new earth. He starts to describe stuff. Stuff is changed. It's nothing like you know here. There's nothing like this. You know, gravity won't be the same. We know, we won't, our diet won't be the same. There'll be no more tears, no more sorrow, no more heartache, then all that. So we know what we've got ahead. So we shouldn't be sad about leaving that. But you know, some of the time when you look at this, you get to thinking, why aren't people listening? Have you thought about it? You know, look at the number of people that need Jesus Christ. Huh? Look at the number of people and they won't listen. You go to the book of Revelation and went to the church's rapture. And the devil has turned, you know, the devil's been held back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reason he gets tempted. But when the church is raptured and he's taken out, then the devil's going to be loose here.
Yeah.
And then all these things that happen in your the wrath, the bowls of wrath, all these plagues and everything that happen each and every time, the main thread that runs through there, the people didn't turn back. They still believe their lie. You know, so you just wonder today, why are people out there killing themselves with drugs? They're out there wandering around. You stand outside your church and there's more people past the church going nowhere. If they turn into the church, they could be going somewhere.
Amen.
You know, you look at that. And so you start to get a little discouraged. But we look at that, and I look at Jeremiah. He was born, he was chosen, he was called to the prophetic office. While he was young, he told God, I'm too young. You don't know, God, I can't do this. I can't do this. If you've never been called to do anything for God most of the time, you're not ready. You know why? Because God says you were ready. You trust God that you can do it. That you can be what you need to be. You know, God told him, said, the Lord, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But the Lord said unto me, say not I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. God said, I'm going to take care of it. I got it. You don't have to worry about the message. You don't have to worry about this. I done tapped you. I picked you. You're it. You know, you're it. So he was commissioned to be a prophet, and he began his ministry during the reign of King Josiah, which was the last decent king. You know, Josiah led the last, it was kind of a half-hearted revival. You know, don't think that Josiah was just great. It was like, you know, they turned back to God just for a little bit, and then after that, they just got rotten. From there on out, all the kings in Judah turned. One got worse and worse and worse. But they were about the same age probably, and Jeremiah was a mourner at his funeral. And he so, you know, we know this. He was forbidden. God forbid him to ever marry. He was, because they said, God told him, these are terrible times. There's terrible times that you're going to live in and you don't need to be. And we start to wonder about why when you preach a message and you tell somebody about Jesus and you tell them how bad hell is and how bad your choices are. You know, there's only two choices, heaven or hell. One of it's going to be beyond your wildest dream. You can't describe. The other one's going to be so awful. Oh, so awful. You know, Jeremiah was called a weeping prophet. It broke his heart to preach his message. He never made a convert. He never, read the book, nobody ever turned back. He was rejected by his people. He was hated. He was beaten. He was put in stocks. They arrested him. They imprisoned him. He was charged with being a traitor because, you know what? He was telling what God had told him and told him, and this was the charge God brought, but you had all these false prophets and all these false ministers there say, oh, it's all right. We're going to be all right. All we got to do is this. We got to do everything's all right. I don't know what y'all getting upset about. Don't listen to this fool down here. Don't listen to him. So they got that. It broke his own heart. It said he wept over Jerusalem. Jesus Christ wept over Jerusalem. And he seen what was going to happen. He seen the destruction. He knew what was going to happen. Jesus could see into the future. He could tell. He knew. Jeremiah had been told, it broke his heart. He said, I know you're right, God. He wanted to resign. He finally said one time, he said, I can't do it no more. I can't do it. I can't do it. Don't give this to me. God said, yeah, you can. You're not getting all that easy. You got to do it. You know, he wanted to resign. God wouldn't let it. He saw the destruction of Jerusalem. He saw the Babylonian captivity. He was permitted to remain in the land by the captain of the Babylonian force if they let him stay. And when the remnant wanted to flee to Egypt, Jeremiah prophesied against it, but they was forced to go with them, and he died in Egypt. He died there. And the tradition says, and we can't prove that, it's not wrote down, but tradition says they stoned him to death, which you can probably pretty well believe that. You know, it tells us in the second chapter of Jeremiah, what God had against them is the 13th verse says, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living water, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Who is a river of life? We look at that in Revelation, there's a river of life flowing out. Who can partake of it? You know, God's mercy and God's goodness is forever. It doesn't run out. It's not like, you know, when I was raised up in Draper, all the water we had was a cistern. Okay? And that was pretty good. You know, it's rainwater, it's soft. You know, you can soak, goes long ways and stuff. But when it don't rain, water don't go too far. You know, it don't. And then once in a while, you got to worry about it. The old cisterns would leak once in a while. So you'd have to get them dry, plaster them again, you know. So it was a mess. These things hold, you know, you don't want that. You need that, what they everybody say, we had an artesian well. Well, that's what God is. It's more than we can handle. It keeps coming. We try to tell people about it. But in the third chapter of Lamentations, we'll go there for just a second. In the third chapter, the first 4 verses, we'll look at that. And it says, and it's the 5 chapters, and they're all an elegy, they're funeral dirges. You don't have to worry about it. And in each of them, we see Jeremiah as he stood over Jerusalem weeping. He's worried about it. This is the wailing wall of the Bible. And he says, I am the man that hath seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He hath led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hands against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, Lord, as we read these scriptures in your ear, we ask that you light them up. Give us a word you would have us to know, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Lord, just touch us tonight, Lord. Help raise your name up before a lost and dying world. We'll give you all honor and all glory from it. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You know, he starts out, he said, I am that man. You know, I give your word, Lord. I was faithful. I did all this. I've seen all this affliction. And then by the rod of your right, you know, I was taken in there. I knew all this was going to happen. And I was right there. And you didn't make it any easier on me. And you did the ones around me I was caught up in. I seen that. And you know, he said, he has led me, I followed you, and where am I at? It's pretty daggone dark. And I'm looking at it, you know, I've been captured, I've been broke down, I've been beaten on, I've been all this. And so you've led me into the dark. I followed you, God. I followed you. You've led me there and not into the light. I was looking for this light. You know, and said, surely against me is eternal. You know, I'm starting to doubt God. You know, there's a little doubt coming in here. I've seen all this bad stuff. I've done exactly what you said. I've given you the message that you give me to give, and all this has come against me, and you have turned against me all the day. I haven't seen much joy out of it. You know, we never see Jeremiah with any joy. You know, he's prophesied destruction. It's like when you preach on hell. You know, when we preach on hell, and the one son said that Dwight L. Moody, the great evangelist out of the middle 1800s, was the only man that could preach on hell. They say when he'd send his students out in Chicago at the Moody Bible Institute, it was told he'd send his guys out to preach. And when they come back, he'd ask us, how many converts did you get? And they said, oh, maybe we didn't get any. Then nobody listened to him. So what'd you do wrong? They said, why'd you quit preaching? Don't stop. They said, Dwight L. Moody would preach about hell with tears in his eyes. You know, this is what Jeremiah was crying over his soul. You know, maybe when we preach about that, it's not that we're glad anybody, we should be so heartbroken that there's so many people out there that would have a better opportunity, that would see a better time. If they could just turn their life over to Jesus Christ, you know, they would be better off. They would be satisfied. You know, these people run around all the time. Like Charlie said, you had a good job when you were doing this, right? And you weren't satisfied.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. There's not enough. If you don't have Jesus Christ, you will never have enough.
Amen.
You will never have enough. He said, my flesh and my skin has he made whole. He hath broken my bones. You know, he hath broken my bones. We can look at the Apostle Paul. Look what he gave up to follow Jesus Christ. You know, if you get a chance, get that movie and watch Paul, the Apostle of Christ. It's great. It's great. They finally come down to show the last scene, and Paul's had his last little talk with Luke there, the physician. He's had a little talk with him, and they were getting ready to chop his head off. That's what's going to happen now. Paul goes up there. He's got a smile on his face. He said, yeah, he's got a smile. The last scene in the movie, might as well tell you about that, because that was great. You know, it was great. You seen it? You did. Last thing, you're watching these people all through that, because Paul be reminiscing, you know. And he was really sorry because he was a bad dude. He was killing people. You know, he not only held the cloak when they stoned Stephen, but he was killing people himself. Yep. You know, he was raging war against them. And so you see all these people he's thinking about, these people he killed. And one of them was a little girl. And he's got a stick holding up, and it never shows you swing. But there's this little girl, and she's just over in like a praying mode, and he's getting ready to hit her, and you don't see her again. So when Paul gets his head chopped off, the next scene, he's standing on a dusty road. Right? So he's in heaven standing on a dusty road, and here come all these people walking towards you. And they got smiles on their face and their arms out, and the little girl's in the front. And the rest of them are people that probably, this is that. And he looks up, and here comes Jesus walking over the hill. So man, this is God. So Jeremiah he's down on all this, He has seen and gone through great trouble. His health is wrecked. He was concerned for Jerusalem, but he didn't go run around saying, I told you so. He didn't say that. He kept telling you, you're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. God's done judge you. His response shows us how God feels. God is not removed from you. You remove yourself from God. God doesn't remove from you. If you get in trouble, if you're doing that, you don't think God's there, reach your hand out. He's going to take hold of it. He'll take hold. He's not removed. He goes with those who know. Jesus said, I will never leave thee or forsake you. That's a promise. That's a promise. God's promises are good. Whatever you're going through, you can be sure He is there. He is there. So you saw that, you can throw out the rest of the chapter, get down to verse 21 through 24. I like these verses. He starts to think about this, and he says, this is the bright spot in the whole book of Lamentations, these 4 books. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. This I recall. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in Him. In spite of this severe judgment of God, and many of them thought it was too severe, Jeremiah can see the hands of God's mercy. He just said, he made a covenant with the nation of Israel. He went back on the covenant. He told them they were going to be gone for 70 years. It is going to happen. I see how you've done. You've turned your back on me. You've started to worship idols. You worship them in them high places, all that. You're going to into that. But they would have been utterly consumed if it hadn't been for God's mercy. There would have been none of them left to come back to Jerusalem. He just prophesied 10 years, and you're coming back. He said that's what happened. They would have disappeared from the face of the earth, and then God's covenant with Abraham would have not been any good, would it? God made a covenant with Abraham. His word is good. God said, I'm coming. He brought Jesus Christ here, and Jesus said, I'm coming again. His word is good. I'm looking for that. He said that. So, was Judas delivered from such a fate due to something in man? Was there deliverance? When you start to think about it, was it due to something? No. It was nothing they did. It is all due to the faithfulness of God. They were delivered because what? God is faithful. And God is faithful. He promised Abraham a good nation would come from him. God is faithful. He promised Moses that he would put them into the land. God is faithful. You look at the book of Numbers, and they're sitting there, and all the spies that come out there, and he's talking about it, and they start having this little discussion, and Joshua and Caleb, they said, hey, it's there. We've seen it. And they all say, yeah, all them big grapes and everything, all them cities, everything there, the garden, it's a land of promise. It is the promised land. It's a garden. It is good. But then some said, well, there's kind of the spices. There's giants in the land. There's giants in the land. And so the people started to get fear and said, oh, it would be better if we had went back to Egypt. Well, you know, I started thinking about that one day, and I thought, well, what were they thinking about? These people that had already killed the Pharaoh, they killed his army, they got drowned there, and you turn around there because you don't believe God's going to deliver the promised land to you, and you went back to Egypt. They'd have slaughtered them wholesale lot. They would have slaughtered them.
Yep.
They would have said, here they're back, let's get them. You know, we know what they did. You know, that wouldn't have worked. So God said, why did they turn their back on me after all they did? You know, when we look at that, this is what Jeremiah is doing. This I recall of I know what God's done in the past. I have that record. I know what he did for David. I know what he did for Moses. I know what he did for Abraham. I know all this. Therefore have I hope. It might not be the best for me, but therefore have I hope. We have hope. You know, that he promised Joshua that he would establish something. And he did. After 40 years, he said, no, you people didn't believe me. You're not getting in. I'm going to walk you around to every one of you got, then your kids will get in there. There'll be a pretty good bunch of them get in there. Joshua's going in there. Caleb's going in there. And the rest of you, I'm not punching your ticket. There you go. And he promised David that there would come one and his wife to reign on the throne forever. And that one's coming in the New Jerusalem that's coming down out of heaven to a new heaven and a new earth. And that one's name is Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And he's who you believe in that. He's who you put your hope in that. He's who this nation around. And all these people around us need to put their hope there. That's where we need to have our hope. Jesus Christ. He's the Savior. He's the Savior. And it's nothing you did. It's nothing you did. You just accepted what he did. You believe he lived. You believe he died on the cross. He rose the third day. You believe he paid the sin debt for you. You believe in the mercies of Jesus Christ. And it'll be all right.
Amen.
Your name will be in. You know, it tells you in there, one time in Revelation, that the books will open. I like that. I was listening to Dave Jeremiah again. I've heard it whipped on that, didn't he? There's some radical out there. Thank you. But he said books, because we always say book of what? But there's books. It says books. It's plural. So what books are they? Are they the books of attendance at church? Are they the books of the number of times you pray? Are they books of what you did for your fellow man when somebody did something done? What are these books? You know, are they some kind of book? But then if you're not listed in the Lamb's Book of Life, there's a flake of fire is your home.
Amen.
And that is the second death.
Amen.
It's the second death. And you can go through that Bible backwards and forwards. There's not a third resurrection. You know, there's not a third. And that's awful because you see these people running up and down the road. I stand out in front of the church on Sunday and they keep driving by. And I said, there's enough people went by to fill the church.
Amen.
You know, there's enough people. We'd have to put the
right. That's right.
There's enough people. And they're just going. Where are they going? Where are they going? What have they found that's more important than Jesus Christ?
Amen.
You know, I like that old hymn, standing on a promise. I cannot fail.
Yep.
Listening every moment to the Savior, but I don't know.
Bless him, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Are you ready to stand on the promises tonight? Let's stand on the promises of God. Amen. You got an invitation song, anybody?
Yeah, sure.
Glory to God. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Anybody got any need whatsoever? The altar's open. You need prayer, we pray with you. Any need whatsoever.
Preach good, Daddy. Preach good, Daddy. I'm ready.
Always.
The young people in
Thank you, Brother Harry and Shirley. Both of them. Good singing, good preaching, Brother Harry. I was just sitting back there thinking about, I remember how we got you transplanted. And I remember coming down to see you, and I think David was with me when I come. I remember coming down to see you, and you know, God has brought you so far. I sit back there. You preached, I think it was at the tent that night that David, his dad, was watching you. I think it's where you were. David texted in and said, Harry Gunter is on fire. And Barbara was talking about the strong voice and everything. God has really worked a miracle in your life. And so that's what we can have.
And he worked a miracle in Brother Charlie's life.
Amen. Yeah, he brought me time and time again, and he knew, I was talking about infection. I know what infection do for you. And when you keep it for 8 months, and that's why I caution Charles Fletcher, don't take that infection lightly.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, especially now I watched. Yes, sir, you're right.
God done a miracle in her life.
That's it.
Yeah.
God done a miracle in her life. I praise God for that.
He did a miracle for her, yes he did. He sure did. Oh, big God. Big God. We want to thank you everybody, and Brother Harry, Shirley had you on Facebook tonight, so we'll have you on YouTube, and you know, it's hard to tell how many people will see this service tonight. We don't know. It's people watching. We had Steve Ford come in here, and he was talking about he said, I pulled up the service, watched it, and he said, a lot of people watch you all, and they do. A lot of people go to YouTube and they pull up services and watch. And God has got every message is for somebody. And Brother Harry, that was awesome preaching.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amen.
Amen. Are all hearts clear? Tomorrow night will be, I call him Elvis Presley. But it's Curtis Howe, and he can preach. He can preach, and we look forward to him coming. His wife passed away, Wanda, and I think he's been here once since she passed away. But we look forward to him being. He may be watching tonight. If you are Curtis, we look forward to you coming. And tomorrow night, singing tomorrow night will be Mike and Patty Gray, and Doris Hayden will be singing tomorrow night. So if all hearts are clear, I want to ask Christine Fisher. Will you come up and dismiss us with a prayer? I want to thank her for everything she does. You're a hard worker, Christine.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
Thank you, Lord, for the service we had today, tonight. It was awesome. Charlie, for everything he has been on here, and you have shown what to do for each one of us to do. I thank you, Lord, that everybody have a safe trip home. Be back tomorrow night. Thank you, in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Brother Harry, and thank you, Shirley, and thank you all. God bless you. Thank you, Lord. Good night, everybody. God bless you. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow night, Lord's willing, at 7 o'clock.
Eric Watson and
People don't breathe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Man, no, where I ain't going.
Mike.